Hello, everybody. This is Glory. Welcome to Alpha Home. Today, in the series of Kali, we will be discussing uh, something which is a slice of my life, which has been an extremely transformative journey in my life. So, this is today what I'm gonna share with all of you is very close to my heart and still remains and will continue to remain a very special part of my journey in the sadhana. So today I will take you into my fateful sanctum of unexpected spiritual odyssey, my most beloved goddess, Ma Chinnamasta. I have never spoken about her. Because she's the form I worship, she's the form I keep, and she's the form I revere in my life. If you have never seen how she as a form looks like, I would just give a caution of, not as much as I don't want to caution you of her form, but still it's a really she's Kali in her fearsome glory, if I can put it like that. In the Guhya Samaj Tantra, she is worshipped as a Shri Mukha Vigraham, a specific worship, which is a specific worship of the head, where only the head of the deity is worshipped. Okay, so Chinnamasta is only the head which is worshipped. A towering form of, she's also a very towering form of Kali, who has decapitated her own head and is feeding her, sadhakas or upasakas with the same blood. Now I want you to understand that all this imagery, all these story, all this narration are completely metaphorical. It is, and I want you to again caution with, because I really understand how sensitive these things can get. So she is not a goddess who's suicidal. Okay, she is a very evolved version of Kali, where she has gone beyond herself, she has gone beyond her own ignorance, her own ego. She did not control the others, she controlled herself, and that was what makes her truly so special and has influenced my life greatly. So I'm a changed human being post I got into her path. So with the swift, decisive drift of the Khadaga, Ma has a sacred sword called the Khadaga, symbolizing the cutting through of ignorance and ego of the self. She has decapitated her own head and she is holding it. So if I am to explain you the complete iconography of Chinnamasta, Ma Chinnamasta, she stands on a copulating couple, which is Rati and Kamdev, that becomes her asana, and she's standing on them. She's standing on them, symbolic of two things. Again, two things where she is symbolic of mastering the red sexual energy, also going beyond that. So she in her path, you will invariably master that, but also go beyond that. She will always take you beyond that, mostly beyond that, always beyond that. And she will cut you through your own insights again and again and again. That is a clear theme that will pop up in your life. Now, how did she come into my life? How did she come? I was very young when a certain thing happened to me, and I was in a really dark stage of my life, phase of my life, where there was one evening, I guess there was an evening where I just came across some information somewhere on the internet about her, and it was almost like I could feel her. It was like I relate to her, and those eyes could speak to me. That image was such, I do not want to use the word, but she's such a badass, such a boss lady, that she did not choose to engage with others, but rather she chose to handle her own self, her own insight, her own idea of life is all she chose to manage. And thereby everything around her arranged itself and changed itself. A clear theme that constantly will get associated in the journey of Chinnamasta is the theme of the cycle of life, death and rebirth, which she will constantly keep you engaged with. Okay? And another theme that I could, it's a very personal experience. I do not know if it is gonna happen with others, but very symbolic part is her eyes. She is symbolic of the third eye. So as I began into her path, everywhere I could always find eyes. I could only see eyes, all eyes on me. So one of her, and later on my path, I realized that one of her name is Drishta, which means she will fiercely look into her sadhaka with extremely protective eyes that surrounds you all the time. But those eyes, her eyes, are windows to the cosmic wisdom, logged onto yours in an unbroken gaze. She's Ghoradrishta. She's always looking at you. It was as if the very essence of the universe was, peering into the depths of my soul. Everywhere, whenever I saw those eyes, unveiling truths hidden in my path, wrapped in plain sights. That is the eye of Chinnamasta. And how, when I say that I was constantly seeing her eyes, it was not as if out of thin air and I just popped up. No. I used to see it on hoardings. I used to see it on, someone's t-shirt like Illuminati, those kind of eyes, or just everywhere I could. It happened, recurred many times for me to take notice of it and to recognize, okay, this is something is actively happening to me. Because if I spoke about that to a layman, let's say, that person might not find that this is, something to be noticed. But I noticed because it happened more than 10 times. It recurred as many times as I could, remember of it. So I noticed. And the thing with Chinnamasta is she operates through symbols, because please understand the imagery. She has no head, she has cut off her head, so she is not giving you any sensory, anything to deal with five senses wala information, if I can make sense, right? Okay, I will not make sense because her ways are so paradoxical. It is like she'll make you understand things through a symbol, So let me take you through another. So in those gazes, in those eyes, I felt a transformative realization wash over me. It was a stark reminder of the impermanence of life and the illusion of the self. Yet, within this seemingly very violent act of her cutting her head lay a very profound message of renewal and hope, a reminder that true liberation comes from within, often through the surrender of our deepest fear and attachment. And at the zenith of my encounter with Chinnamasta, I understood that these visions that I was having was not a figment of my imagination but a spiritual transmission of a highest order. Right? So Chinnamasta's severed head becomes a sacred emblem of my journey, along with her eyes. Henceforth a journey of embracing life's mysteries, transcending the ego, and pursuing a path of enlightened understanding in her unyielding gaze. I found the courage to face the complexity of my own existence and the inspiration to seek deeper, more profound understanding of divine dance of creation. So in my first communion with Chinnamasta, I think an initiation into a world of profound spiritual signification that I had scarcely imagined happened to me. And this vivid experience became the genesis of the path that I was destined to walk. A path illuminated by the enigmatic teaching of Chinnamasta. Her symbolism, her complex and multi-layered teaching began to unravel before me, guiding me towards an understanding that transcended conventional wisdom could not take you. So again, I want to share this, that the wisdom that you will get through Chinnamasta's realm is a headless one. You will not make sense again because you are making sense of what she is teaching you, and you will understand because you're in her path. What will happen is she'll teach you through, let's say you want a message, there will be a signboard, there will be a person coming to you and speaking you something that you wear. Your answers will come in very matrix driven way, I would rather say, in a very incoherent way. It is not a linear path where today you step 1 you are here, step 2 you are there, and then you will find in step 3 the answer. No. In our path, if she chooses to allow you that wisdom that now you deserve to have, it will come through to you through somebody. And also I have observed in her path, personally, this is my personal experience, your experiences could be different, is that like I said, symbolism, like tarot cards. Someone who does a tarot card reading is not having a tap on the reality, really, right? What she is doing is she's tapping into a consciousness of a different realm. and she's getting her downloads. He or she is getting, the reader is getting the downloads through signs and symbols, let's say. That is her realm. That is a realm where you cannot see, but still you know the truth. You cannot hear, but still you know you can hear the sounds of the truth that she wants to give you. You might not have the proof of something, but you know this is the absolute truth that is lapped on your life. So my life became intertwined with her teaching, her presence, her through initially daunting experience which unfolded as a source of immense wisdom to me and strength. Through her guidance, I learned to embrace life's, complexities. With grace, I saw beyond and the surfaces of things, and willed to, surpass the surface and go to the bottom of the ocean, if I may say that. To find harmony in the dance of creation and destruction. In her, I found not just a goddess to revere, but a teacher, a guide, and a beacon of enlightenment on my journey. Each aspect of Chinnamasta has manifold nature. It is never a straitjacket answer, is what I have observed. Each aspect challenged my perceptions of reality. Each revelation beckoning me towards a deeper contemplation of life's paradoxes. She stood as a, symbol of both the terrifying and the sublime. Okay? A deity who embodied the raw truth of existence in all its form. So how could I deny such a wisdom in my life? Like they say that something, she is all intuition. She is the third activation of third eye, which is why I was seeing the eyes maybe. So anything and everything she wants to give you, you'll see through the eye of the mind first. Which means you have to have enough trust on that, on your own self, on your own wisdom, on your own intuition to be in her path, which is, so rare. Everybody wants magic like this. Everybody wants, 2-minute solutions. So, like they all believe, she is a very difficult path to be in. Primarily because you will not have proof of what she's teaching. Even her teachings cannot be taught, I feel, in a conventional manner, the most unconventional goddess that anybody will ever come across. The form that defies all logic, the form that defies all conventional wisdom. Her wisdom, come on, like I haven't come across. I was absolutely fascinated when I come across this form, and then more fascinated as she unraveled herself to me. I was grateful for her to unravel those wisdom to me, I would say. But to even share, it's so difficult for me because it's all science. It's just science. It's nothing beyond that. You have to reach into that state of pure enlightenment, pure understanding, to see through everything and anything. The most beautiful thing could have a gruesome reality, which she'll show you, and the most nastiest thing could be rooted in something so divine and so pure. That's her nature. Also, another thing that I have just I wanted to share. Another thing that I've seen in her path is people with ADHD. people with very hyper neural activity, which society finds difficult to understand, so they box them into a certain deformity, do come across quite profoundly. I have come across such people very profoundly around me during her sadhana path. So I think she's symbolic of, she's a complete nervous system. She controls your nervous system, right? So any nervous system irregularities which leads to greater intelligence is what I believe, but society is yet to get that. Slowly they're understanding that. Will definitely come around you once you're in her path. So I'll make a part 2 about it. I thought of just making it in a freewheeling way because she is not a conventional goddess. She wouldn't like me if I stuck to the structures of the conventions of the videos that I was making. So let's see. Let's wait for the part 2. Thank you.